Hello, my name is Eric Connor, and today's presentation will be on outsourcing a division for Module 1 of Decision Theory in a Global Marketplace. Decision making is a complex process and involves both prescriptive and descriptive approaches. Leaders must work through the process of decision making as it has a direct impact on the organization's success and sustainability. In this scenario, our large manufacturing organization, internationally based, has had a financial issue over the last couple of years and we are losing money. So to promote sustainability, we are to assess whether outsourcing a division to an international country is of the best interest of us. In this presentation, we'll discuss the steps that we need to take to make this decision, analyze the role of prescriptive and descriptive approaches in this decision with supportive reasoning, and explore the critical thinking skills necessary. The first step is to define our problem. This is considered to occur when one has a goal but does not know how to reach it. Whether or not to outsource the division to another country serves as our current problem. Managers must diagnose the problem correctly so that we understand what we are trying to solve, as this may require additional informational gathering. Once we define that problem, the criteria needs to be identified. We need to answer what we want to accomplish, what objectives that we want to accomplish through our problem are. The criteria that needs to be met with the decision of outsourcing is that we will save the organization money and lead to better sustainability. Identifying criteria notes the importance of data collection. It provides information on the importance and relevance of the criteria selected. The third step in the decision-making process is weighing our criteria. We've identified the criteria as cost reduction and sustainability. And these two criteria may feed off of each other, and therefore may be of equal importance. However, it's up to the leaders to determine which criteria takes precedence over the other and assign a value. The fourth step is generating alternatives. Alternatives such as considering restructuring the current division that's under consideration for outsourcing to reduce expenditures to be explored. And are there other cost-saving measures besides outsourcing that could reduce expenditures and increase our sustainability? It's important to note that a collective effort among several individuals or groups should be employed to generate alternatives, as this helps to foster innovative and alternative solutions that could give us more options in our determination of our solutions to our issue. Step 5 in the decision-making process involves rating the alternatives on each criteria. We must analyze and compare our criteria, which are reducing costs and providing sustainability, to alternatives such as restructuring the division or finding other methods to reduce costs, such as assessing our supply costs. This often requires best guesses and estimates about how these alternatives will impact our cost and sustainability, so it's not an exact science. Step 6 involves computing these ratings or estimates obtained in Step 5 by the weight of each criteria. This gives us a weighted average of cost savings that we could expect to incur and help justify our decision from a mathematical standpoint. It's important that we note both prescriptive versus descriptive decision making. Prescriptive decision making involves the rational side of decision making, or what we should rationally or ideally do, and what morally we should do. Descriptive decision, on the other hand, involves actually what does happen and takes into account the validity that the human race is not able to be fully prescriptive and rational. There are biases, judgments, assumptions, and perceptions that can cloud our judgment. From a rational standpoint, the prescriptive decision making makes a lot of sense in terms of cost reduction and sustainability practices, and really should lead our decision making. We should try to be as logical and as rational as we can. However, we can't completely rely on that. As stated earlier, human beings cannot be totally prescriptive and rational. So we should be combined with a descriptive decision making to make our decision more enriched and validated. And the way that this is more enriched and validated is that it gives us a greater understanding of what our biases, assumptions, and perceptions are. And this understanding will allow for a more well-rounded decision making, greater understanding why we do what we do, and it helps us to justify what we do. The importance of critical thinking cannot be understated. Despite our emphasis on our decision meeting the criteria of cost reduction and improved sustainability, our critical thinking needs to consider what the decision would entail. In an article of Pithers and Seiden, they define critical thinking as being able to identify questions that are worth exploring through breaking down knowledge and presenting evidence that justifies an argument. Critical thinking needs to be heavily involved in generating alternatives to our outsourcing. We need to critically think about what outsourcing a division will do to the employees of the division that we are outsourcing. How may this impact morale at our organization? How does it impact our current clientele? And does it potentially increase or decrease the contacts and opportunities that we have with others that could potentially grow our business? And how does it impact our community? This presentation has outlined a decision-making process to help leaders make decisions. It should be noted that this process is an idealistic approach, as many times due to time constraints or lack of information, the leader is unable to proceed through each step fully. A prescriptive component should be combined with the descriptive approach so there's a more well-rounded and fully justifiable position. Critical thinking should be employed whenever possible, as this allows for better understanding of the situation and all factors involved. And this adds a really moral and ethical component to decision making that should strongly be considered and utilized whenever possible, as ethical considerations are hugely important to organizations. Thank you and have a great day.